What if Annihilape was in Gen 1 OU, the evolved form of Primeape, who, kinda, maybe, sorta needs a bit of a boost in Gen 1, because he's not known for being particularly good, or even used in Gen 1. Like, Bruno doesn't even use him, and he has like 2 Onyxes. So, yeah, it's no wonder he got so angry that he died. But yeah, how would Annihilape be? That dude, he was, he was a bit of an issue in Gen 1, or not Gen 1, Gen 9 OU. As you all know, Rage Fist is a pretty good move. But also, part of what made him good was both Translation and his abilities, as you could just, lower his, his, attack because he has Defiant. So yeah, that was a bit of an issue. But obviously, a lot of those, or would all those things, don't exist in Gen 1. And there's Psychic types everywhere, which Annihilape doesn't appreciate. So how good would he be? Only one way to find out. Now, starting with the typing, a lot of you might think it's pretty bad. And that's because the fighting type is. But I would argue, Annihilape's typing at the very least is better than Gengar's. You're both weak to Psychic, however you're trading your ground weakness for a flying weakness. Meaning you only have to really worry about a Zapdos when it comes to that. Which I think that's a pretty good trade. And quite frankly, a better one than, what Gengar has to deal with. Because Gengar not only has to, not only does he just lose to, Rhydon, despite having, a much higher special. But even Tauros can threaten, Gengar with Earthquake. Meanwhile, Tauros can only hit Annihilape with neutral damage. Which, as you can imagine, is quite useful for that matchup. And Ghost is on its own is just good. Being immune to, normal attacks, like Hyper Beam, Body Slam, and even Explosion, that's huge. And unlike Gengar, again with Tauros, Annihilape can, absorb, any of Tauros' normal attacks, but can also threaten it back. Which, it's kind of hard to say for, Gengar. Because, yeah, he has the exact same speed stat, he can put it to sleep, and his special moves hurt. But Earthquake also hurts. And if Tauros gets a crit, Gengar just gets one shot. So, yeah, even though Annihilape is a fighting type, not only do I think he's going to be good, I also think that he can even take advantage of his fighting typing. So, yeah, let's start by looking at the moves. Because, to my surprise, he has a lot of different moves. He actually suffers from 4 Move Swat Syndrome in Gen 1, which is incredibly rare. The only Pokemon I can really think about that suffers from that is, Starmie and Mewtwo on the top of my head. But let's just look at how much options he has. He has Body Slam, Earthquake, Fire Punch, Ice Punch, Low Kick, Nightshade if you want this consistent damage. Rage Fist, honestly, be fine in OU because of how many normal and psychic types there are that are immune to it. And in the video, you're going to see that I tried to make it work. You'll see if it did work afterwards. But yeah. You also have Rest, Rock Slide, Seismic Toss, Substitute, Thunder, Thunderbolt, Thunder Punch, Dig is banned. You have Hyper Beam, and yeah, just Swift. Obviously not going to use that, but a lot of moves. That's a lot of different options. You want to just counter something specific, you can do that. You want just consistent damage or Night Slash, you can do that. Even Thunderbolt, despite, Annihilape only having a base 50 special attack, is useful for Pokemon like Cloyster, who don't have the best, don't have the best special. So it's really just whatever you want. Personally, I actually think Low Kick is actually pretty good on Annihilape. Because not only is base 90 speed pretty good, same as, I think, Moltres and Kangaskhan, so your crit rate's around, 17%, remember correctly. But, with that speed set, you're faster than, both, Snorlax, Chansey, and even, like I said, Cloyster. So having a super effective fighting move, one that can even flinch on top of that, it's really good. You got Earthquake as your most consistent physical attack. And Body Slam is good for paralysis. Thunderbolt is, like I said, mostly good for just, mostly good for the Starmie and Cloyster matchups, because I think it's technically your strongest move, not counting Hyper Beam, which as you can imagine is pretty good just in general. I tried Mega Rage Fist work, and obviously it doesn't work on normal psychic types, but I tried to see how it goes against Rhydon and Zapdos, or Jolteon, Pokemon that, Annihilape can survive a few hits from. It works on Gengar, but Earthquake also works just as well. It just didn't work out. I thought it could be an interesting win condition once the normal Second type was taken out. Use Annihilape, and then with Rage Fish you can just do a lot of really crazy damage. And theoretically you can do that. Because theoretically you could take a few hits, let's say a Tauros, and then once the Jolteons and the Zapdoses are paralyzed, you just hit very hard with a 300 base power Rage Fist. But it's not gonna happen. You're not gonna survive that much, even with rest. Although I will say rest is also a good option, because Annihilape is pretty tanky, which means that you can actually, survive a few encounters, especially with rest, especially with you being a ghost type, being able to absorb a lot of hits, you can pivot a lot. It's really useful. Even though there's a lot to talk about, I guess there's also counter, because with Gengar also has counter, which I don't know. I forgot about it earlier, but yeah. Mostly won't come in handy, but in case let's say they have a Snorlax only has normal moves, you could probably get a free KO. But yeah, like I was saying though before I got distracted, squirrel brain. There's a lot more I could talk about just the moves and the different uses. But I think with how many replays I have, I think 18. I think it's the best just to get it to right away. Always starting off with the boy, we got Tauros. Now your strongest option I believe is technically Earthquake, and a critical Earthquake is a 3-hit KO. Meanwhile, your low kick is also a 3-hit KO. So, yeah, I was pretty surprised, but Annihilape can take Tauros in a 1v1. You lose most of your health, but again, you saw there, right? It might be kind of risky, but Annihilape could theoretically go for a rest. If not for Tauros, against something else, maybe a Chansey. And then meanwhile, with Snorlax, it's also a 3-hit KO. Earthquake barely does anything to you. And the flinch chance is also just really nice. And Annihilape really appreciates it. Snorlax and Chansey do not. But what about Reflect Wax? Or Annihilape? Yeah, it's not that much better, really. Because Annihilape's so faster. Flinch chances can still happen. Crits can still happen. So theoretically, Snorlax can get some amnesias up and threaten Annihilape with Ice Beam. But it's way too risky. Annihilape has a lot of chances to either, crit you or get flinches on you. So even when you're, tanking more hits, you're going to have a good opportunity sooner or later. Snorlax might get it too, but it's so much more in your favor. So it honestly makes you think that the Snorlax probably wouldn't even bother. And obviously, if it's a Snorlax without, Reflect, it's just a free matchup. And then Low Kick is 1-hit KO on Chansey with a crit. As you can imagine, that can be quite useful. But even if it's not a crit, it is a 2-hit KO. And you have the chance to flinch it. So Chansey, even with a Thunder Wave, I just don't think they're going to risk it. Because too much can go wrong. So yeah, having a good matchup against the big three. Yeah. I was going to do what I did with the bug type and try to make videos trying to find the perfect bug type. But yeah, I don't think I need to do that for fighting. I think I already found it. So yeah, I saw some people having doubts about it. And examples like this is probably a good reason as to why. Because yeah, Psychic is pretty bad. It hurts you. The only way you can repeat Alakazam is getting a paralysis on Body Slam, then killing with Hyper Beam, which is only going to happen not even 30% of the time, because you're also going to have to worry about crits from Alakazam, which one-shot you. So it's a pretty bad matchup. But against the Psychic types, it's the one that's the second best matchup against the Mao. And then against Cloyster, I was really unsure about what was the best move to use against it. So I used everything here. I used Rock Slide, I used Low Kick, and then I used Thunderbolt. And Thunderbolt was the best one. So yeah, sort of like how Tauros sometimes uses Thunderbolt for Cloyster. Annihilape can also do it. But although I might argue that even though Thunderbolt does more damage, Low Kick might just be better because of that flinch chance. So it's up to you. It just depends on what moves that you want. But at least it's good to know that Low Kick is good on just Pokemon that aren't just, normal. which as you'll see here with Cloyster using Clamp. Yeah, Clamp is annoying, but I would argue since you're faster and since, you know, you have a much better crit rate as well as, you know, having a chance to flinch, I won't say this match could go either way. I would just say just find out just a good matchup for Annihilape. Although you guys can be the judges if you want. Although I will say, if Annihilape had like Rage Fist here, it probably would be like really good. So maybe that's a way you can use it. If you want to use it, if you like have a specific set, if you want to like really counter a Cloyster, you can like, you know, have Low Kick, Thunderbolt, Rest, and Rage Fist. And then like once Cloyster's down, you probably can use Low Kick for the normals. You're gonna have to find something else for Psychic, but against like the Rhydons, like Zapdoses, Jolteons, occasional like Kinglers, Pincers, Sandslash, etc. Rage Fist can do at 300 probably would be good, but it's just very hard to actually get to that point. And against Eggy, this, you're not surprised. You're no one surprised here. And I very wishes he had a consistent way to paralyze it, but he doesn't, other than, you know, Body Slam. And Sack is just a 2-hit KO. So you probably don't even bother with Power, you just try to go for the kill. It's unwinnable, but yeah, no one's surprised by that. And then against Gengar, Earthquake does majority of Gengar's health, and you have a pretty good crit rate. So yeah, Gengar probably doesn't risk it. And also, I'll just show you like an example of like Rage Fist. And Psychic is actually 3-hit KO on Annihilape, and it doesn't even always have, you know, Psychic. So actually, I think I put Gengar and it could go either way, but I actually think it needs to be moved to good matchups, now that I think about it. So that's pretty good. Most of the ghost types end up having a could go either way or bad matchup against Gengar. Meanwhile, a Thunderbolt with a critical hit does have. Earthquake without a crit does have. So yeah, it's pretty good for Annihilape. Like, or not really, it could go either way, because Jolteon does admittedly crit a lot. But it's worse. Like this, for example. This is a really bad matchup for Annihilape. Jinx is faster, puts you to sleep, 2 shots with Psychic. It's really not good. Like, I'm not even sure if Rockslide would one-shot. I have a feeling that it wouldn't. Which is really sad. Really, really sad. And then against Rhydon, this was a pain to make. Because, I don't know why, but when I kept on doing it, like, both of them kept on getting crits. So it wasn't like a good representation of how much damage both of them do. So that's why in the beginning there, I just went for Thunderbolt and like Body Slam, because I like, maybe it would kind of change it. And also then, I wanted to see how good Rage Fist was. And that was with 2, and it didn't even kill the Rhydon. So I was like, are you kidding me? It was bad. But at the very least, like, you know, I would won. But it wouldn't have won if, you know, I didn't make the Rhydon use Body Slam at the end instead of Earthquake. But I'm glad I did it. Because, you know, it just, Rage Fist is, yeah, it's bad. It's very sad, but it is. It's just not worth making it work. Especially with how many other moves Annihilape wants to use. Also, yeah, against Swellow, it's also unwinnable. I'm not even sure why I bought the recording. I guess I want to see how good a critical hit would do. It didn't do well at all. So Swellow, which is yeah, there's nothing you can do. And no one's surprised. Absolutely no one. And then I believe this one's going to be the first Starmie we play. I want to do one where it just have Bulk Beam coverage. Because even though Psychic, as we all know, would just be a free kill. I think Bulk Beam's probably the most common. So how good does it actually do? Like, with both of them paralyzed, it really does become anyone's game. Because Annihilape is really tanky. And both of you guys have ways of recovery. So, yeah, it's just a matter of like how much is paralysis going to annoy me. And the answer is extremely. Because it's genuine paralysis. And it's especially annoying for these replays when I make them. Because you kind of have to, because realistically your opponent is probably going to try to paralyze you. But it ends up like, I have to end up making so many more replays. Because a lot of times paralysis works at the worst time. Which means that like it's not a good accurate representation of how much damage or how much, you know, these Pokemon can take against each other. So yeah, Like, I hate it, but I kind of have to. That's why now, like, if I have something like Executor or Alakazam that I'm like more murder immediately, I just try to go for the kill instead of using Thunder Wave. And yeah, and there's nothing I can really do there. Same thing with crits. Like I said, I had to redo the Rhydon versus Annihilape like replay a lot because both of them ended up getting crits. Not just Annihilape. I think I had to do like 4 or 5 replays where Rhydon got a crit. I'm not sure what was happening. It was so annoying. But yeah, it just comes to the territory. It's Gen 1. Shenanigans happens. It's at the very least though, I still enjoy making these. And I'm actually really excited. Because right now, I am actually really close to 3,000 watch time hours. At the time of making this video, I'm at 2,985. Literally just 15 more hours, and I have all the requirements needed to, at least for watch time, to make money from streaming. I still need to like get the 500 subscribers, and I think I'm at like 434 right now. So that's also getting really close. So, subscribe if you're not already. I think over 80% of you guys aren't subscribed. And it means a lot. Like, especially with this, how far I've already gone in just like these 2 months I've been making these videos. I've been really enjoying it. And I enjoy talking to you guys too. So like, you always have like suggestions for videos, just let me know. I'm assuming with this Annihilape video, it's going to get a lot of people talking. Either from people who underestimate Annihilape, or from people who still think it'll be kind of bad due to its fighting typing and being slower than most of the psychics. Alright, and also, that was with, Starmie, without Bolt Boom coverage, you're getting paralyzed. With Psychic, you're not going to be surprised by this. You just get 2-shot and murdered. But I believe, even Surf is preferred, because Surf has more power points, if you want a stab move. But yeah, it's not the best. Last but not least, we have Zapdos. To no one's surprise, Drill Peck hurts you pretty hard, but I messed up majorly with this replay. You're gonna see why. So he goes for Drill Peck, ended up getting a crit, so there's another Rock Slide would have killed it, but I went for a Rage Fist. And keep in mind, that Rage Fist was now at 150 base power. Even 150 base power could even, take out Zapdos when it lost most of its health. So yeah, Rage Fist is bad. There's nothing you can do, and that's really sad. I wish it could be good, or actually not really. It was annoying to deal with in Gen 9. But either way, here's my viability. I think he needs to be moved to good matchups. But just to be generous, we'll put Cloyster and Quickle either way. So yeah, I personally am impressed. I thought he would have suffered from not having a good stab. But Well Kick is already pretty good. And he has Rage Fist, but it's a move. It's definitely a move. But it's not a move you should use. But at the very least, with him already suffering from 4 Moveset Syndrome, at least you don't have to worry about that. But yeah, here's the list. In terms of stuff that's unwinnable with just the Psychics, I think it's actually a lot better than I thought. I don't think Alakazam is a truly unwinnable matchup. I think you can get lucky with that matchup and win it. Although it's very, very, very unpreferable. But yeah, at the very least, I think just having good matchups against the big 3 is already enough for he to be OU. And I do think, he's a better Ghost type user as, Gengar. As, he can, do more than his Absorber Explosions. He can also, just take on Tauros in the Snorlax, directly. But Gengar is definitely just a better Pokemon overall. With, his high speed, high special, and with Hypnosis and Explosion. But overall, yeah, I am very satisfied where Annihilape is. And I do think that even with Low Kick, he'd be a good fighting type. Which is, yeah, Gen 1 kind of needs one of those, doesn't it? But what do you think? Do you still think Annihilape wouldn't be able to make it in Gen 1 because of, the Psychics? Or do you think he actually would be pretty good? Did you underestimate him? Or do you think, he was exactly about as good as you thought he would be? And what are the videos you would like to see? I make these videos every day, and I enjoy making them. I'm thinking that tomorrow, since it's been a while since I've done a Gen 1 Ubers video, I think tomorrow I might go for Miraidon. And obviously, if I do that, you guys are probably going to suggest Koraidon, the next video. But what do you think? Do you think that'd be a good video? Do you think it'd be, obviously be good? There's, barely any legendaries in Ubers. But how good would he be? You get the idea? Thank you all for watching. This is Groundback, and I look forward to hearing from you.